Hi everybody, this is Clarine in Reenie's room. Now today we're going to make a card and treat box, and this is what it looks like. The front says, best friends don't care if your house is clean, and then when you open it up it says they care if you have chocolate. Great friends to have. Anyway, then this folds up and you put your little treat in there, whether it be chocolate or something else. And we have some little ephemera going around that, and then there's the back. Alright, so let's get started. So we're going to cut the base of the card out first, and then I will give you all the measurements for the different panels as we go along, and then we'll just build it from top to bottom. So you're going to start with a piece of cardstock, 11.5 by 8.25. And then with the 11.5 up at the top, you're going to score at 2 3/4, 7 1/4, 8 1/4, 10 and 11. And then you're going to rotate it with the little 1/2 inch at the top. And you're going to score at 1 3/4 and 6 1/2. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and cut out all our corners and parts and pieces. I hope you can see those lines. This paper might be a little light, and we're not going to fold it until after we do the cutting. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold this 11.5 at the top, and we're going to cut away the corners, all 4 corners. And right here is a very small cut, because it's a little corner. And then we take away this corner box. And then these other 2 corners are big. They're very long, but they count as a corner. So I'm going to cut all the way across here. I'm just cutting right down the center of those valley folds that I made. And we'll cut up here. And we're going to cut this other last corner in this big corner. It's actually 2 spaces, but it counts as 1 corner. And I'll just cut up here. There we go. And it looks like I didn't get in that little notch there. Put those over to the side. And what we've done is we have formed the base of the card, and we're going to cut out the little tabs. There's 3 of them. There's these 2 vertical lines, and we're going to cut right up the vertical lines. On both sides, because we have a top and a bottom. Perhaps I should have picked a darker base, because those are kind of hard to see. But anyway, this is the body of your card, and this is going to be the little box part. So we're going to trim the other tabs. These two end tabs, I'm going to cut half of them off. Doesn't have to be exact. We're just cutting half of it off. And the same up here. Just cutting half. It probably isn't making sense yet, but it's a very clever little box. I originally saw the directions at Becky's Place or Becky's Space, and they were just written directions, and very clever, and it just came together so nicely. I thought, well, I have to make that. All right, so now we've got those cuts. This is the bottom. This is going to be the top. So I'm going to bring my scoreboard back in because right here I want to measure down 3/4 of an inch on both of those middle tabs. So I'm going to put it in here and come down. Here's 3/4 right there. And I'm just scoring that. We're not cutting it off. And then I'll do the same thing over here. Oops, I'll turn it this way. And we just want to have that 3/4 fold. That makes the little tab that holds the top and the bottom. Okay. So keeping this long piece on your left, your box on the right, this is going to be the top of your box. So I'm going to go ahead and circle cut those ends, and I'm just about 10mm corner rounder. Put that there, and put that one there. Okay, so now we're going to fold and burnish the edges. So this is where the valley fold was. So I'm putting that face down, and then I'm folding all of those score lines and burnishing them. This might help show up what we're doing too. This is the little side panel that holds your box together. And then these are the bottom tabs. I'll just put them all there. This little guy too. Whoops, so this is the top one. And then the other. Okay. Now if you, whoops, fold it back the other way, if you remember, we had a score line over here. We also want to fold on that score line. That makes the little outside part of your card. And then I'm going to take a pencil, and this is going to be the inside of your card, because we're going to be folding these up. And I'm going to fold this over and then just run a line, not making a big dark line, but a line that you can see. Use a pencil in case it gets out of hand. You can always erase it right there. And then let's finish folding and burnishing these edges. Let me do those first two. Okay, so let me show you how this is starting to take shape. This tab is going to come over, the score line is going to come right over to that pencil mark. And this is going to be your box. Oops, I think I got it upside down. Okay, so let me regroup here. I'm going to make this the top. Let me see, hold on a second, I got switched around. This comes this way. Yeah, we're okay. We're okay. All right, so what we're going to do is cut out this middle part so that we can have a little window into our box. So I'm going to have you lay it. This is the side that we put the line on. We want to work from the inside. So I'm going to turn this over. Now I'm going to do it inside. I'm going to keep it simple. All right, so now we're going to get into some of the measurements that you need. This is a little template that will cut the size of your window. Now you're going to cut one that is 7/8 by 3 3/4. And that's going to go right in this middle section, right here. And I'm just going to center it. And then I'm going to tape it down. I'll put a piece of tape at the top. And one at the bottom. And we're going to cut this out with an X-Acto knife. So I'm going to bring another little pad under here. I don't think that's going to go through on my regular work pad, but just to make sure, I'm bringing in another little folding pad. And I'm going to get out my X-Acto knife. And we're just going to cut that out. So I'm going to start up here and just cut. I'm putting a lot of pressure on there. I'm just making small little movements. And then I'll check and see. Yes, that's cut through. So I'll continue on down, taking my time and also keeping my fingers out of the way of this knife. Cutting down here, lots of pressure. Sometimes you can feel it break through on the paper, sometimes you can't. But yes, that went through. I'll bring this guy over here. Yep. And then I'll do the last side right here. And I'm going to leave that tape on there. It's not going to bother anything because it's on the inside. Oops. And I think that's cut through. I can kind of feel it. Yep. See? Cut all the way through. Put that blade away. And then we'll take this off. Save that for another one. All right. So what we have here is the inside of your box. So the next piece that we're going to put on there is the little frame that goes around the window. Now we're going to need a piece of patterned paper that is 4.5 by 1.5. I went ahead earlier and burnished all of my edges with these little markers, Cali markers, like that. I've been using this a lot instead of Distress ink, but you could certainly use Distress ink if you want to burnish your edges. I did that ahead of time, and I also added all of my score tape just to kind of help us move along. So I'm going to put this on the front of the card. Remember that we cut that window from the inside, so I'm going to flip this over. This is the outside of our card now, and I'm going to center that. Like so. Finish that. Okay, then I'm going to flip it over, back in the middle. I'm going to take that X-Acto knife again. I'm going to cut this out. Now I found that if you You still have to apply a lot of pressure, but go slow in little jerky moves, I guess. And just staying on the outside of that edge. And you can check and see if it's coming through or not. And that was not, so I'm going to have to run that again. Go like that. And I'll do the top. And then over on this side. Actually, I'm going to flip this around because I like having that edge over there so I can make sure that I stay real close to it without cutting out any part of the box. And then I'll do the top. Yeah, I cut through. Okay, so then we'll just top it out. And voila. We have our little window for our box. It's going to fold over like that. See how that's coming together so nice? Now I'm going to have to burnish those edges a little bit so that everything matches. And of course I don't know where I put that ink. I'll pick this color because I didn't want the white on there. And I'm just burnishing the little window area. See how quick and easy these little pins are? I love them. But it takes out that edge of your paper. Okay. Now we're going to put in our acetate. And for the little acetate window, you're going to cut a piece that is 4 3/4 by 1 1/2 plus a 1/16 just to give it a little extra edge. And we're going to put that on the inside. Now, whenever you're working with acetate, I suggest you do not use glue because it really makes a mess. So to attach this, I'm going to put 1/4 inch score tape around the window. Like that. Burnish that down. It is important to burnish score tape because you want to get that tape nice and spread out. And I'll put a little bit on the bottom because we don't want your candies to fall out or whatever else you put in there. Okay. Then I'll peel those up. And then we'll just lay our acetate down. Trying not to touch acetate too many times because it picks up fingerprints and stuff. And then I'm going to center that in our little cutout area here. Right like that. Get it in the middle, I think I can. There we go. And then burnish, hold it down. That looks good. Always worry about X-Acto knives. because if you don't follow the lines, you can make a big mess cutting into your material. Okay, well, how cute is that? All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start putting those panels on. And I'm going to put the ones on the box first. And for those measurements, you're going to have 2 sides. See how this has formed the box? Oops, get this out of the way. You're going to have 2 sides here and here. And those are going to be 4.5 by 3/4 plus that 1/16, just to give it some more space. And I had already put my tape on here, so I'm just going to take that off. Now if you want to use glue, you can certainly use glue for the rest of this. I just went ahead and used score tape. So I'm going to put that centered in the middle here. That looks good. Always lay it down before you put any pressure on it in case you have to move it. If you're using glue, you have lots of squishy room, so you can always move stuff around. It's a little different with the tape. I'll put that there. And that looks good. Alright, now we're going to cut out the little pieces that go here on our flaps. And these are little guys. And you just need 2 of those. They're 1.5 by 3/4 plus a 1/16. And those are going to go right here on our bottom and up on the top. Center that inside that square, like that. Oops, doesn't want to go. There we go. And then burnish that down. I love this little paper. It was a scrap in my scrap box, so it didn't have a name on it, but I'm thinking it may have come from a Graphic 45. Maybe they're one of the Halloween collections or something. It's because it looks like it, and the paper feels like 45, Graphic 45. And then this other one goes right here on the top. There we go. Alright, so now we've got your box all formed. When we were putting this together earlier, and I thought I had done it upside down, what threw me off was the lid, because I'm used to having them in the back and then they fold forward, but this one goes that way, which is good. Kind of threw me for a minute. Alright, so let's go ahead and glue this down. Now I'm using glue for this. So I'll put that on here. And I'm going to fold that score line over here to the pencil line. And just squish it down. And if you'll notice, this other score line folds and it just nice and neatly lays right down there. So we'll give it a little time there to dry. There we go. And there's your box again, taking shape, which is good. Now when we do the bottom, we're going to miter these edges. because they're the flaps. So I'll just put a miter there and there on the other side. And these are going to fold forward. So we're going to put glue on here. It's going to adhere to the bottom. This is the flap that's going to go inside to hold it. So I'm going to meter those edges as well. Not a whole lot, but probably somewhere between a 1/16 and an 1/8. Now we're going to glue these in place. And at the same time, I'm going to put the glue here so that that will adhere and keep the bottom very snug. And we just fold all three at the same time. So those go down, this comes over, and this one goes into the bottom. Like that. There we go. Okay, then I'm going to use my ruler so I can reach down in here and tap those tabs down because we don't want them sticking up. Okay, that's the bottom. Now we're not going to glue the tabs on the top because they're just going to fold over when you fill that, and then this goes in the back. Right like that. There we go. Oh, he doesn't want to go. So I'm going to help him. I'm going to cut this just the tiniest bit. I'm shaving off just the tiniest bit so that that'll go in like I want it to. There we go. And then there's your top, here's your box. All right, so now let's put on the panels. Now this panel, you're only going to cut one. It's 4.5 by 2.5, and that's going to go right here. And then the other two panels, you're going to cut two that are 4.5 by 2 3/8, and that's for the cover and the inside, which is, here's the inside cover, and this one is going to go on the outside, like that. So let me go ahead and set those in place. And I'll just center them in their little sections here. And that's going to go there. Right like that. Oops, got too low. There we go. Gotta have them in the right place. Whoops. That didn't want to go. Let me see if I can do better holding it up. There we go. Okay. And that guy folds over like that. And then these are the two that go on the inside and the outside. So I'm going to put those in place. And that's going to go there. Okay. That went a little bit easier. And then this is the front one. Now if you'll notice, when I bend this over, there's like, it won't go all the way down without making a curve up here. So I'm going to shave off just a tiny section of that, because we're going to be putting some ephemera on the box. So I'm just going to shave off not even a 16th, I mean just the tiniest bit, so that when you bend that over, see how it doesn't cause a big edge over here. I probably should have done that before I put this on, but it worked out just fine. Put that back over here. And then I'll put on my last panel. That's going to go on the front here. Whoops. Keep knocking them around. There we go. Now to go on top of these panels, I designed some little sentiment panels. And that would be these. I usually bring all my designing into Photoshop Elements, and then I can size things and move them around. This is the one that's going to say, they care if you have chocolate. That's going to go here. This is the little sentiment card. And since it doesn't really say anything on it, it's kind of neat that you can put anything on there you want. You can say thinking of you, or even Merry Christmas. You could do this in, oh my goodness, you could do this in Christmas papers. Wouldn't that be cool? Because I eat chocolate all year round. So lots of options. Then that's going to be centered in the middle. Like that. Put this guy on. They care if you have chocolate. It's going to go right here. Now I found the some of the fonts on Creative Fabrica. They had I just typed in chocolate, and they had this really kind of wild little chocolate thing, so I added that onto my project. Then here's the front. Best friends don't care if your house is clean. And that's going to go right up here. Now, I knew I was going to put, of course, chocolate in there. So what I did was I ordered some of these little baggies. These are 2 by, I think that's 8 or 10 inches, something like that. And it's just a bag. So I tucked it inside here. Like that. And then I could fill it up with chocolates, or whatever else you want to put in it, and then I just cut it off and put it in there. And let me show you what it looks like after I do that. And just pull the box out. And we can put it in here. See, I just rolled it back. There you have it. Now, these little ephemeras, I'm not sure where the flowers came from because I've used them on so many projects and for so many different things. I just don't know where they came from. The hearts came from Creative Fabrica while I was looking for chocolate fonts. So I cut those out and brought them over and made these up. So I'm just going to show you a couple of how I attach them, and then you know what the finished product looks like. Okay. So I attached these with pop-ups, most of them, some of them, and then the others I did with, I just glued them down. As an example, I took this flower and I creased it. You could put it in your scoreboard if you wanted. And I glued this one on. Right down here. Like that. And then I used pop-ups. Put a heart next to that. The hearts are actually in two sizes, so you might kind of gives it a little flare. So I put that up there so that it could pop up. And then I did another flower over up here, and this one I glued down also. And I think I wrapped that around a little bit too. I'm just trying to incorporate, you know, the box with the rest of the panels. I glued that down. I'll put it this way, I think. You kind of squish it under the heart so that it has a little dimension. And then I'll do one or two more. You get the idea. You don't need to watch me decorate this. And then I did a pop-up flower. Oops, that sticky guy. And put that over here. Now, I didn't stick anything on the acetate because that's not a good medium for that. So that'll give you an idea. Then you just kind of hit and miss wherever you want it to go. You could even put some flowers out here. I wonder what that would look like. Like stick one over there. Oh, that's cute. See how that ties it in? I like that. I'm going to stick that there. That's the fun part of crafting is while you're doing it, you come up with all kinds of different ideas. But I like that there. And you could put them around in other places. And I think that is it. So we'll put this candy back in the finished one. And then this kind of gives you an idea of where to put the flowers and the hearts, and you can wrap them around. I'm gonna add some flowers in here because I like that idea. So there you have it, a card and treat box. Thank you so much for coming.